Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Madison Richardson, and today we're going to talk about soccer, also known as football in most countries. Specifically, we're going to talk about the history of soccer, the rules and regulations of soccer, and the benefits of playing the sport. Let's first talk about the history of soccer. In Central America and Mexico, the Mayans, Aztec, and Olmec were believed to play a version of the game. Their version of the game involved using a ball made of sap from rubber trees. These balls were bouncy and heavy. Some even weighed up to 10 pounds. The players used their bodies, excluding their hands and feet, to try to bounce the ball through a small stone hoop. The game was played as part of a religious ceremony, and the losers were often executed. Evidence also traces soccer back to a military exercise in China during the Han Dynasty. The exercise involved kicking a leather ball filled with feathers through a small hole in a high screen while the opponent tried to block the ball. And likewise, the Romans played a version of the game to help stay fit. The Romans used a ball the size of a modern soccer ball. Two teams with anywhere from 5 to 200 players would meet to play the game. The goal of the game was to try to keep the ball on their side of the center line using their hands and feet. These games would become very violent. This is where the Europeans are believed to have got their version of the game from. However, instead of trying to keep the ball on their side of the center line, the Europeans try to get the ball in a goal on the other team's side of the field. Two teams from rival towns would meet to play, and these games would become very violent. Eventually, the games became less violent, but as more people began to play, they realized they couldn't because they had different rules. This led to the formation of the British Football Association in 1863. The British Football Association set 13 basic rules down for the game, including a set ball size, a set number of players on the field at a time, and the no hands policy. Some people didn't like the no hands policy, so they broke away to form the sport of rugby. Immigrants eventually brought soccer to the United States, and now nearly 3 million kids play youth soccer all over America. Now that we've talked about the history of soccer, let's talk about the rules and regulations of soccer. First of all, a match is played between two teams. Each team has 11 players on the field at a time. If at any point in the match a team exceeds this amount of players, a foul is called and the other team gets a free kick. Another important part of soccer is clothing and accessories. A typical uniform consists of a shirt, shorts, shin guards, cleats, and socks. At the high school and middle school levels, no amount of jewelry is allowed to be worn by a player. Soccer is played in two halves with a halftime separating each. The time that is played depends on the level that is being played at. The high school plays 40-minute halves with a 5-minute halftime separating each. The clock starts right when kickoff happens and typically does not stop until a goal is scored. When a goal is scored, the clock stops and another kickoff is redone. The clock does not stop even when the ball goes out of bounds. Fouls are another important part of soccer. Fouls can be called for shoving, pushing, hitting, tackling from behind, tackling an opponent prior to making contact with the ball, and inappropriate language. An excessive amount of fouls or an intensive foul can result in a yellow card or a red card. A yellow card means that a player has to sit out for the rest of the game, but eventually can get back in. However, once a player re-enters after receiving a yellow card, their risks for receiving a red card are heightened. A red card means a player has to sit out for the rest of that game and a couple games following. Now that we've talked about the rules and regulations of soccer, let's talk about the benefits of soccer. First of all, soccer is a team sport. The team with better passing skills tend to win the game. This is why people who play soccer have an increased ability to work well with others. Another benefit of playing soccer is enhanced coordination. Soccer is about dribbling, but a player must use their eyes to navigate the field and block opposing players from taking the ball. The most obvious benefit of soccer is improved overall health. A typical soccer player runs anywhere from 5 to 7 miles during a game. This results in an increased cardiovascular health, which decreases the risk for chronic heart diseases. In conclusion, I would like to emphasize how many places soccer has been played, how tricky it is, but how beneficial it really is. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my presentation for today. I thank you for your time and attention, and at this time I will take any questions you might have.